Dudes, welcome back to TC Project 253. I'm TC and it's New Year's Eve. So I figured what better time to take a look back at all the cool shit we did this summer. It's probably the best summer I've had in a long time. Truly enjoyed it. We did a lot of stuff, we had a lot of fun, and it all starts with this. February, I bought a brand new car. I didn't really want to do it because I don't like spending the money on something brand new because it's a lot. Honestly, you pay too much for what it's worth because in 5 years, it's worth $5 grand, you know? I wanted this car since the debut of the FRS. I held out and I waited until Toyota produced the new Toyota 86. That's how my year started off. Getting behind the wheel of this car and having fun with it, a whole new experience. I don't regret a thing, even though it cost me a fortune. March, we started hanging out at Jamie's place, getting his SR20 240 ready to rock and roll. He wanted to do a complete swap, get a newer generation motor. His original car had a red top from an S13 in it, and I had a black top from an S14. So it's got some different cam stuff going on with it. You guys know what it's all about. So I sold him that engine, we threw it in the car, and then we brought it down to the boys at Kiwi to get that running. Hanging out at Kiwi Performance is pretty cool because these guys are just super rad. It's my favorite place to be. I love going down there. Sometimes I help them work on stuff. Sometimes we just hang out. Other times we go pick up cars, you know. And it's great. They all have super good sense of humor. The dudes are like me and my dudes, so I help them out. They help me out. They've got my car and stuff there. So in Jamie's car, they got that SR20 running. They got it going good. Jamie took it, drove it like he drives. Super heavy foot. Ended up blowing the head off of it. And then the kid doesn't hold back. So right away after that, he went for a KA24 swap with a big fat turbo. That engine used to belong to Tyler. Tyler works at Kiwi Performance. Built the setup there. It's a winning combo. Couldn't get any better than that. Kiwi Performance specializes basically in race cars, motor swaps, any kind of fabrication. Perfect. They recently fit a 2JZ into a first gen RX-7. So if you guys know those cars, they're tiny, they're little cars, but they shoehorned it in there, they got everything working properly. From the outside, the car looks stock. You couldn't tell because these boys know what they're doing and can fab anything. They do lots of RB work, like RB26s, bore them out, make them bigger, make some RB30s. That's what I think Jay specializes in the most. Here's a couple cars that he put that stuff in. Now check this out, look how cool they look. He even built the intake manifolds, the fuel rails. The guy does everything. The head honcho with the shop, the leader, Jay. He's the Kiwi, comes from New Zealand. He's been playing with stuff like this since he was a little kid, and he's definitely got it down now because I would have him do any kind of work on any of my cars. They have my 240 now. We're doing a big V8 turbo thing. It's gonna be a pretty rad drift car. And working under Jay is Tyler, the boy wonder, fast learner, and he's a hard worker. If he can't figure something out, he will. He stays on it until it's all figured out, it's lined up, it's done, and he makes sure it's done properly. He's very lucky to have a guy like Jay showing him the ropes because Jay knows pretty much everything there is to know. I've never really asked him a question that he couldn't answer, and he proves it time and time again with what he builds. Let's not forget about Luke. Luke marches to his own beat. He walks his own path. I call him the mad scientist because he gets into wiring and all kinds of stuff. I've seen him take apart complete wire harnesses, figure everything out, put it back together. You're gonna see some really cool stuff from him. What a wicked team. I'm happy to do business with them. I'm so happy that they're building my car, and it was a total honor to meet these guys and to be able to call them friends. And speaking of friends, nothing is more important to me than my friends. The first big project for us that we all got together on was getting Jesse's IROC running again. So what we did was we pulled out the manual 5-speed transmission and we put in a 700 R4, only to get 2 days into it and realize that it's not gonna work. So we ended up pulling it all back out, and now Jesse's gotta learn to drive a 5-speed. We're gonna make a bunch of videos about that. It's gonna be super cool. So to get that thing going, my good friend Craig Crash Lindstedt came down and helped us out. Now Craig's a mechanic in the city, specializes in Volkswagen, Audi, some real technical stuff. There's nothing that this guy can't do. And he came down and worked on the car, and the IROC actually used to belong to him, and he used to drift it. When we're talking about OG guys, now JM has a Buick Roadmaster. This is a massive car. He calls it the land yacht. It's got mags, it's on bags, and it's got more bass than anybody could ever need. But that's just his style. That's what he does. This car is suited perfect for him. So this summer, we figured, hey, why not make the exhaust just as loud as the sound system? So we put some sweet ass headers on there that he had to order that are apparently super hard to find because there isn't really a lot of modifications, I don't think, for this car. So everything is really, it's something special. When you find the right parts for this car, every time we get in the garage, it never ends before like 3 or 4 in the morning, but every time, it's worth it. He's got huge plans for this car. We're gonna get into that tomorrow's video.
That sounds different. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. Fucking snap.
Oh yeah. Since the first day I met Brent, I knew he was totally into drag racing. He had a big background in it. His dad was a crew chief for multiple drag teams. He's been around the scene since he was a little kid, and now he's going at it. He's got a 1980 Malibu with a 383 stroker in it, and this summer, the guy put slicks on it. Things are getting serious. He doesn't come out and say it, but I know he actually wants to go big drag racing. He wants to send it, take it to the next level, the exact same way I look at drifting. We have a connection there, and you're gonna see a lot of that in the video series of Project 253. So what do we do with all these cars that we own and play around with and modify and do stuff to? Well, we live in the South Shore area of Montreal, Quebec, that area, general area, and there's always something going on. I would almost bet money that every night of every week you have something to do, somewhere to go. There's all kinds of car meets. There's stuff for muscle cars, for tuners. There's teams hanging out here and there. There's always something going on. We went out to A&W a few times in Chateauguay. They have a lot of old school stuff there. That's on a Tuesday night. There's exclusive Mondays in Laval, which is like basically a scene from the Fast and Furious. They got two-step competitions, all that.
On fait du bruit pour la GTA, tout le monde!
All that kind of crazy stuff. And then the weekends, there's always a show or a race or event. And if there's not really anything going on, you can go to a practice day. A lot of the shows we went to this year was like Car Fever, Mod Lifestyle, there was JDM Fest. My personal favorite, the Paul Walker Memorial Ride, because that's really it's a spiritual thing. It's the cars, the people, the feeling, the atmosphere. Everybody there is there for one reason, and that's just to spread the love and be happy, doing what we love. And at these events, we always meet new people, we run into people that you know, They introduce you to people. So this year, I was super lucky to meet some cool people. I met up with a gentleman that I have breakfast with every morning on my way to my job in the city, Mr. Don DeGelli. And he actually took the time to drive me around the racetrack with his golf cart, introduced me to people, and he really started to teach me the ins and outs of drag racing. I've never been a big drag race guy. I've always been more about drifting because I felt that drifting is more of a driver thing than a car thing. I always thought drag racing was just about the money, but there's so much more than that. There is so many little details. These guys go into like the 1/1,000,000th of a second with all these settings and the tire setups, and it's just endless. This is a motorsport for really smart people. When they start getting really good, it's crazy. And nothing makes me happier than being out there with these people, learning new things, experiencing new things, and just absolutely loving life. So I'm very happy to be able to end this season feeling so grateful for everything that happened, everybody I met, everything that I got to do, everything I experienced. There's so much involved, there's so much we did. I'm so grateful for every one of you that's watching this. I love you guys. It's 2019 soon. We're gonna kick it in the ass. It's time to get real, it's time to step it up. We're in for a ride. So peace out and stay happy.